Hi, Professor Gluckman. My name is Minor Xu, and you also remembered me as Maggie. Today, I'm exploring a cornerstone of American artistic creation. We're looking at the 1985 film adaptation of Arthur Miller's Death of a Salesman. Where originally a play from 1949, this specific version, starting Dustin Hoffman and John Malkovich, is a fascinating piece of art because it bridges the gap between the intimacy of the theater and the reach of cinema. It's a story about the American dream, but more importantly, it's about the cost of that dream on the human soul. What makes this film unique is that director Volker Schellendorf didn't try to make it look like a real movie set in a real city. Instead, he kept the stylized, almost dreamlike feel of a stage play. You will notice the house doesn't have solid walls; it's skeletal. It is a deliberate artistic choice. It allows the past and the present bleed into each other, showing us that for our protagonist, Willy Loman, the walls of reality is literally disappearing. It's used the stage's artistic tools to show how Willy's mind is falling apart. We can look at these pictures in here. We can see the house is empty and it has no real walls, right? So it's not a home, it's just a cage. Dustin Hoffman plays Wally differently. Usually, we think of tragic heroes as kings or great leaders. Hoffman makes Wally a little man. He's physically small. He's always tired to death. Wally's biggest mistake isn't that he is bad salesman. It's his obsession with being well liked. In the American artistic tradition, we often celebrate being self-made man, but here we saw the dark side. What happens when you have no self left because you are too busy trying to please others? Willy Loman died in 1949, but don't we still see Willy Lomans in today's world, LinkedIn or Instagram? Where people trying to look well liked while they're actually struggling, just like this man's in this picture shows. The film uses expressionism to map this internal psyche of a falling citizen. Expressionism is an artistic style where the world is distorted to reflect a character's inner feelings. When Willie has a flashback, the lighting changes instantly from cold blue to warm amber. Characters from the past walk through walls. This is a critique of American cult of the South. In American artistic creation, we often focus on the individual's perspective. Here, the film shows the danger of that. Willie's individualism has become a literal hallucination. He cannot see reality because he's trapped in the self-constructed narrative of success. It suggests that the American dream is an internal psychological trap, not just an external economic goal. Just like these two pictures shows, when Willie traces back, his brother Ben walks through the walls and the scene's color turn to the warmer color. And when he come back to the reality, the scene is suddenly go to shade in those colder color. The brilliance of the artistic direction in this adaptation lies in the sharp, visceral contrast between the two leads. John Malkovich as Biff, bringing this raw, explosive anger that contrasts with Hoffman's nervous energy. Biff is the only one who wants to stop lying. There's a powerful scene where he tries to tell his father he was just a shipping clerk, not a big shot salesman. While Willie is the old word of sales and smiles, Biff is the new word of wanting to work with his own hands and to be very honest. It's a battle between the fantasy and truth. Ultimately, their confrontation is more than a family dispute. It is an epistemological war between the comfortable, hollow fantasy and the brutal, liberating truth. As you can see in these images of their higher tension argument, the physical distance between them has closed, but the ideological divide has never been wider. While the play was written in 1949, the peak of post-World War II optimism, this movie came out in 1985. This was the era of greed is good and the high-flying corporate culture of the 80s. Seeing Willy Loman struggle in this context makes the story even more struggle. It also ties back to our core themes of frontier myth. Willie's brother Ben went to Alaska and got rich. Willie stayed in the concrete jungle of New York. The frontier is gone, and all that left is a salesman with a mortgage and a broken car. Artistically, the film uses symbols to tell the story. Pay attention to the seeds where Willie tries to plant in his dark, crowded backyard. He is desperate to leave something behind that will grow, a legacy. Then there are the sample cases. They represent his entire life's work, but by the end of the film, they are literally too heavy for him to carry. Like the red Chevy and skeletal house, this visual metaphor turns a simple story about a job loss into a universal tragedy about human value. Also in the film, a faint flute melody played during transitions to the past. Artistically, this represents Willie's father, who was a literary creator, a man who made and sold flutes. Using the film's sound design is a symbol of the old America. This highlights the tragic shift in the American identity from the maker to the seller. Willie doesn't create anything, he only moves goods. The flute is an artistic ghost of a time when Americans had a tangible connection to their labor. So to conclude, the 1985 adaptation of Death of a Salesman is far more than a historical artifact. It is a profound artistic autopsy of American dream. By blending the surrealist elements of stage design with the raw, climactic intensity of Hoffman and Malkovich, the film captures a uniquely American tragedy. The moment when the myth of infinite progress collides with the reality of human fragility. Willy Loman's failure is not merely economic. It is failure of the imagination. He is a man who built his entire identity on the shifting sense of being world-like, only to find that in the cold machinery of the modern world, he has become a disposable goods. Also, the brilliance of Arthur Miller's creation and this film's execution is that it refused to look away. When Linda Loman famously declares that attention must be paid, he isn't just speaking to her sons, he is speaking to us as audience. The film serves as an artistic reminder that a person's value cannot be measured by sales ledger or corporate title. It is a haunting, beautiful, and essential piece of American art that challenges us to find a more authentic way to live, one based on truth rather than the exhaustive pursuit of a hollow success. This is also the biggest takeaway for me from this text, also the great filmed film. And so, yeah, thank you for your watching, Professor, and I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I'll see you when I see you in the next term. Bye bye.